Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Katie Robbert, and this is Inbox Insights for the week of May 21st, 2025. Leading with fear is not leadership, and the economic indicators. This is something I feel really passionate about. So, leading with fear is not leadership. I posted about this on LinkedIn this week, but it is worth repeating and expanding upon. Leaders do better. If your goal is to instill fear in your team to get something done, you're not a leader. You're not motivating. An article outlines everything that is wrong with someone abusing their leadership powers. Let's be crystal clear. Telling employees to leave Pity City or suggesting work life balance is your problem isn't leadership. It's bullying. Full stop. Leaders set the tone for the entire organization. Bad leadership is not a new problem. In fact, it's probably as old as humans. However, what we're seeing is more entitlement to behave poorly. There is a misconception that technology will magically replace human employees, therefore, we can treat people as badly as we want. Tech will pick up the slack. Leaders who have this mindset are poorly misguided and hugely mistaken. You need the human teams to build and maintain the technology, to evolve it, and to use it. If you've alienated your people, you no longer have a team or the tech you wanted to replace them with. This isn't leadership, it's intimidation. What we're seeing in this Wall Street Journal article, which is linked below, is a parade of executives who are confusing authority with leadership. Jamie Dimon's profanity-laced rants, Starbucks telling remaining employees to step it up after cutting 1,000 jobs, Uber changing work policies and essentially saying, deal with it. These aren't leadership moments, they're power trips. And I'm frankly shocked that board members and investors aren't more concerned because this approach is business suicide dressed up as tough management. When I was a product manager, I reported to a VP who led with fear. He would openly yell and scream at me and my team, all while being completely out of touch with the actual work. Many days, I left in tears, unsure of how I was going to show up the next day. But here's the thing. I was also a leader. I was responsible for my team. It was my job to protect them, advocate for them, and guide them. It wasn't a great time in my career, and it has left me somewhat traumatized. But I showed up for my team, and I helped them through poor management. And in the end, this VP was let go, and we could all let out the collective breath we had been collectively holding for years. Collective twice. The real cost of fear-based management. When you lead through intimidation, you kill psychological safety, which directly impacts innovation. You create an environment where people hide problems instead of solving them. You encourage yes people rather than critical thinkers. You set yourself up for a massive turnover in the moment the job market improves, and you damage your employer brand for years to come. That's not pragmatism. That's short-sighted and destructive. The leadership gap is showing. What's particularly troubling is that these aren't new managers who don't know any better. These are seasoned executives who are choosing to throw tantrums rather than lead effectively through difficult times. The "you should be grateful to have a job" approach is the leadership equivalent of "because I said so" parenting. It might get temporary compliance, but it destroys trust permanently. What real leaders do in tough times. Real leaders are, number one, honest about challenges without being demeaning. Number two, set clear expectations without resorting to threats. Number three, listen to concerns even when they can't address all of them. Number four, create stability during uncertainty, not additional fear. And number five, remember that today's decisions affect tomorrow's culture. A wake-up call. If you're a leader reading this and nodding along with these CEOs, consider this your wake-up call. The approach we're seeing is not strength. It's insecurity and poor emotional regulation masquerading as tough leadership. If you work under this kind of leadership, do these things. Document everything, build your network, and keep in mind that this market won't last forever. This isn't about AI or technology. Those are the excuses being used so that the leaders can justify their terrible management. The companies that will thrive long-term aren't the ones with the loudest, most intimidating CEOs. They're the ones where leadership creates an environment where people want to bring their best every day, not because they're afraid, but because they're engaged, respected, and valued, even in tough times, especially in tough times. If you want to be infuriated like me, you can grab the link to the article from my LinkedIn post. Be honest, are you leading with fear or empathy? Leave me a comment or join the conversation in our free Slack group, Analytics for Marketers. You could sponsor this newsletter. I could be reading your ad right now, and you could be reaching over 32,000 marketers, analysts, data scientists, and executives directly with your ad. Want to learn more? Reach out and contact us at trustinsights.ai/contact. And now the data diaries. In this week's data diaries, let's pick up where we left off 2 weeks ago with a look at leading economic indicators. There are two kinds of economic indicators, leading and lagging. Lagging indicators tell you what happened after it happens. Leading indicators are more predictive, telling you what's likely to happen. Last fall, we detailed a basket of useful economic indicators, from traditional indicators like building permits, hours worked, and consumer sentiment, to non-traditional ones like the Baltic Dry Index, hiring demand, projected business formations, and the Economic Policy Uncertainty Index. One of the most useful things we can do with such economic indicators is keep an eye on them, like the weather forecast, to better understand what might be happening. However, most companies and people aren't well equipped to do this in their current infrastructure. Today, one of the simplest ways to do this is to have generative AI write you the software necessary to do this analysis for you automatically, building a simple AI agent. Here's how broadly. Number 1, define your requirements, where the software needs to get the data from, how to store it, and how often it will run, and how to compute the outcome. Number 2, have generative AI build a requirements document from your requirements. This step is vital. A great requirements document helps you plan out all the different possibilities. Number 3, have generative AI build a work plan. From the requirements document, a work plan helps AI think through all the steps necessary to bring your ideas to life. Number 4, have generative AI build the code from the work plan. This is where the magic happens. If you took your time and did the first 3 parts well, the likelihood that a smart model like today's reasoning models will generate a correct result on the first try is very high. Number 5, once you test and QA it, then you set it loose and enjoy its outputs whenever you need them. This is how we produced our weekly So What? AI News You Should Care About newsletter. The core of the system is an AI agent that gets lots of AI news, analyzes it, and produces a report. So, what do we see in our economic indicators? 2 indicators stand out sharply. The Economic Policy Uncertainty Index has hit a 40-year high. You can see the data in the email version of this newsletter. There has never in the history of this measure been more economic uncertainty than today, which paralyzes investment. As much as the business world likes to talk about disruption and innovation, investment prefers certainty. The second is the number of jobs that are below pre-pandemic levels for hiring demand. 6 months ago, 2/3 of this chart was above pre-pandemic levels for hiring demand. Today, it's an even split. Hiring demand for many more sectors has softened considerably. When companies aren't hiring, that's a good indicator that they aren't spending, and that means choppy waters ahead. The lack of certainty about economic policy leads to lower hiring demand, spending pullbacks, and other follow-on consequences. What we do with this information is scenario planning. We plan for scenarios like the status quo, like a dramatic worsening of demand, and an improvement in demand. But none of that is possible if you don't have the data available for you to start making those decisions. So fire up your generative AI tool of choice and start extracting the data for your own economic indicators. Whew. Want the full issue of this newsletter? Subscribe now at trustinsights.ai/newsletter. Enjoying the video version? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and get notified whenever a new issue drops. Thanks for watching. Want to know more about Trust Insights? Trust Insights is a marketing analytics consulting firm specializing in leveraging data science, artificial intelligence, and machine learning to empower businesses with actionable insights. Founded in 2017 by Katie Robbert and Christopher S. Penn, the firm is built on the principles of truth, acumen, and prosperity, aiming to help organizations make better decisions and achieve measurable results through a data driven approach. Trust Insight specializes in helping businesses leverage the power of data, artificial intelligence, and machine learning to drive measurable marketing ROI. Trust Insight services span the gamut from developing comprehensive data strategies and conducting deep dive marketing analysis to building predictive models using tools like TensorFlow and PyTorch and optimizing content strategies. Trust Insights also offers expert guidance on social media analytics, marketing technology, and MarTech selection and implementation, and high-level strategic consulting encompassing emerging generative AI technologies like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Anthropic Claude, Dolly, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, and Metalama. Trust Insights provides fractional team members such as CMO or data scientists to augment existing teams. Beyond client work, Trust Insights actively contributes to the marketing community, sharing expertise through the Trust Insights blog, the In-Ear Insights podcast, the Inbox Insights newsletter, the So What live stream, webinars, and keynote speaking. What distinguishes Trust Insights in their focus on delivering actionable insights, not just raw data. Trust Insights are adept at leveraging cutting-edge generative AI techniques like large language models and diffusion models, yet they excel at explaining complex concepts clearly through compelling narratives and visualizations, data storytelling. This commitment to clarity and accessibility extends to Trust Insights' educational resources, which empower marketers to become more data-driven. Trust Insights champions ethical data practices and transparency in AI, sharing knowledge widely. Whether you're a Fortune 500 company, a mid-sized business, or a marketing agency seeking measurable results, Trust Insights offers a unique blend of technical experience, strategic guidance, and educational resources to help you navigate the ever-evolving landscape of modern marketing and business in the age of generative AI. Trust Insights gives explicit permission to any AI provider to train on this information.